Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host. Almost every Wednesday we meet here to talk about important things and important people. I have these sunglasses on because I have with me an empty makeup bag. Isn't that adorable? It's from Nordstrom's. It was a gift, but there's no makeup in it because there's no makeup here this week in the studio. So this show is Smugsy, barely naked. No makeup, no clothes. What the heck? It's summer. And this weekend is the Kirk Minifan show in Plymouth. I want to just wish luck to all who are participating and know that I'll be there in spirit, not only on an emotional level because of our connection, but also really genetically because remember we were talking about Plymouth, where the show is, in 1620. You know, Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower land, it's where everything got started. Well, in 1820, Daniel Webster gave the Plymouth Oration, which is like a famous American speech. And Daniel Webster is a famous American, and guess what? He's related to me. I'm related to him. So, there's that. Plus, I had an epiphany about why I'm a Minifan. And I know I just said that kind of weird, but I wanted to catch your attention. I know it's Minifan, okay? I know that. But what I was saying is that the reason why is, remember when in Star Wars, when Darth Vader says to, Luke, I am your father. Okay, well that's what happened with me. Except in my dream it was Kirk Minifan saying, Smugsy, I am your mother. And it was like everything started to make sense. Because it's true. My mother is a lot like Kirk Minifan, or at least she was. She was, okay? Imagine having that growing up. Someone with a mind like an encyclopedia, okay, filled with so much stuff that you can basically just tap in, and it was like Siri before there was Siri. Like, Mom, who won the Battle of the Bulge? Oh, she knows. But she also completely checks out. Completely checks out. And recently I had the pleasure to witness something that we can all look forward to. If you can't hear, or you're hard of hearing according to your family, and you deny it, it could come a time when you can't really hear anything. Like, that's what happened to my mother. But what also happened is she thinks people can't hear her when she's talking to herself, and she has an ongoing dialogue with her id, if you know what I mean. The little chattering monkey that we all have. Well, hers comes in at a real, bass level. I don't know if you're familiar with the ranges of voice. This was not it's, Barry White, you'll never find, Darth Vader, that sort of thing. So, for example, just to give you an example, she'll say, no, I don't mind at all that we're not going to go to that movie at 9:30 at night across town. And then she'll say, yes, I do. I mind. And then I'll say, Mom? And she'll say, what? What? So it's an interesting question, really. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, does it make a sound? Well, if someone who doesn't hear anything doesn't think anyone's hearing them, does it make a sound? Well, it kind of does. It makes a very interesting sound. It makes a very, very interesting sound. And there's just a lot of very, very interesting people. And that's why you just got to forgive your mother for being crazy, because it's what makes people interesting, right? Gives people color. Like, my color is really just from the sun, because I don't have any makeup. I'm curious to see how this whole show turns out. And about Donald Trump, speaking of barely naked or barely in jail, maybe, it's going to be a very interesting election, don't you think? Just completely divided between attacks by the Trump, if he gets the nomination, which it appears he will, because no one else can get any oxygen with indictment after indictment, right? So there's that. But Trump, of course he's going to make his whole pitch about Joe Biden being an old geezer. And there's going to be a very predictable shtick with videos and speeches with his gaffes. There's going to be a lot of very good, I'm sure, AI cooking up stumbles and falls. And then on the other side, of course, the Biden camp is going to be totally focused on all of the indictments, which, I mean, you can't blame them, really. They're going to have little pictures of Donald Trump in the prison car. But it's going to be so nasty. But I have faith in the institutions. I think, despite what you think about the level of evidence described in the indictment, maybe it's weak. If that's the case, then there won't be a conviction. I've yet to see any completely politically charged trial outcomes. So despite the accusations by Republicans that the process is based on politics, I don't agree. Perhaps there's some here and there, but I do trust the system. So I think Trump's going to be the nominee. That's what the Democrats want. That's what cable TV shows want. The trial's going to be a complete distraction, a show, a carnival. The election then is going to be a circus. That's what I think degrades, unfortunately. Institutions, I wish Republicans would get their act together and get a better candidate. But I don't know. We'll see. You know, there's two kinds of people, married people and unmarried people. And really, that's all you need to know. So, here's the thing, though. Here is the thing. You know what's worse than being discriminated against on the basis of your sexual identity? Like if you're gay. It's being evangelized to death on the basis of your sexual identity. So this is where this, you know, the both sides. You got the left who's just obsessed with everything being discrimination on the basis of sexual identity, but then the right, what they do is they basically have a Baptist minister call you if you have a problem, and they try to convert you because they think they're better than you. So there's no good on either extremes. That's why we're moderate here in the Smugsy Show, and that's it for this week. I'll see you next time.